let's talk about this for a second. So there's a couple things notables, right? So one, gym rat, right? But a smart one. I know you spent some time in CrossFit and it changed your life. And I want to know about that more because you've essentially told me that, but I don't know much beyond that. But the other part is like as a result of that, you've also used it as a means to help other people, right? And becoming a coach.
Yeah.
There's that. And then along the way, you've started your own lifestyle brand, which is becoming wildly successful in a very short period of time. And I kind of already know all the reasons why, but I want to uncover those a little bit because and highlight a couple of things to acknowledge. So maybe you can kind of take me back to, how this kind of thing started for you. Maybe just kind of give us an update. Give us the Reader's Digest version of your bio.
Without getting too crazy into like my whole life. From like,
nobody wants to hear that shit.
Yeah. Basically, long story short, I never wanted to be told what to do. You know what I mean?
Most coaches were mavericks,
and it's really weird because like after I realized that I wanted to like help people and stuff like that, and I wanted to get better at things, I just started shutting the fuck up and listening to people. If I wanted to get better at this, I just found who was good at it, and I just like started listening, and I just would swallow my pride, my ego, and so I got really good at stuff. But
it's interesting how that happens.
Yeah, it's super funny. So the high school dropout thing, I went through 3 years and I wasn't doing anything, dude. Like when I tried, I did good. I just didn't want to do anything that they wanted me to do. Basically, I don't think I went to a good high school. I'm not going to say what high school, but I don't think I went to a good high school. I don't think I had good support. I actually had a couple teachers tell me I was going to end up in jail someday. And dude, I wasn't like a bad kid. I was kind of nerdy. I played video games competitively. Like
what video games were you talking about, dude?
Halo. I would go to like other like states and stuff like that. And I didn't get super duper successful with that. Luckily, because I was definitely obsessive. Video games are like, unlike CrossFit, you can like kill yourself doing too much CrossFit. You can play video games like 20 hours a day.
Wow, it's wild. This shit's wild to me. I've never been into it. I mean, so many of my friends or people I know do it, and I've never even seen the game Halo live. Like, I've never stood in front of a TV and even seen.
You know what it is, dude? I think it's the time period that I grew up was perfect.
Oh, I'm sure. Because, I know that has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, because like when Major League Gaming, without getting too much into that, Major League Gaming was like massive in like 2003 to like 2010. And that's when I'm a teenager.
Those are formidable years. Yeah, right.
You know? So anyway, I did that stuff. And because I never wanted to do homework or listen to my teachers, I just spent all my time doing that and feeling great playing video games. And
because why was it making you feel great?
Because I'm good and I'm competitive.
So when you say good or competitive, what are you measuring there in Halo? You gotta.
So tournaments,
ranking
online, things like that. And like I said, when you're a teenager and you see somebody win like, a few $100,000 playing like the video game you play, you're just like, this is awesome. And this is before, like, this is when it first hit like ESPN. So like now it's like millions, dude.
Oh, and now you can get an NC2A scholarship.
Oh yeah, dude, it's crazy now. Like there's people that I've played with that are now on Dr. Pepper bottles. Yeah.
Okay.
But that's a whole nother thing. But my point is I did that and it got me like really out of shape. I never played sports my whole life. My mom, because I lived with my mom. I grew up with my mom. She just never wanted me to physically be harmed or anything. So I wasn't allowed to play sports or anything like that. Right. So I played some basketball, like pickup games, but like, dude, I was never, ever athletic. I've been fat my whole life, and then.
Well, hold on just a second. So when you say fat, like there's
progressively gaining weight. And then I'd say once I dropped out of high school and I was like playing games, like fucking full time. And all I was doing is like, I was into street racing cars and stuff like that. And I was just doing that and video games, nothing physical. No fitness at all. Just like if it wasn't like pit crew at like a road racing event, it was video games. It was one or the other. Right. And I've just always wanted to do something I wanted to do. Maybe it's selfish. I don't know. Maybe it's fucking me being American and privileged. I don't know. But I just never wanted to like work at McDonald's, I guess, and I never was so financially in a bad position with my family that I was like forced to like
go do something you didn't really want to do or out of necessity.
Yeah. And like
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and like my mom has been a real estate and mortgage agent for like my whole life, and I got into that for like not even a year, dude. I was falling asleep at work. I was making better money there than I was as a coach, but I fucking hated it, dude. I hated it so much, dude. It felt good being like, yeah, I do this and I make, X amount on a check. And I feel like I didn't even do a lot of work, but I hated it. So I didn't do it anymore. That's basically how I like ended up being really out of shape, building up through all that stuff. And then after working with my mom, I got really into music. So I was like, I love music. Naturally, I'm kind of talented with rhythm.
Okay.
So I started doing music. And then I don't know if you know anything about like rappers or hip hop. There's like a lot of drugs and alcohol and partying.
I know a little something about it. I'm a product of the 90s, man.
No, I'm totally being sarcastic, dude. It's like, I'm not built for that, dude.
Yeah.
I'm all about Wu-Tang Clan. I'm all about Nipsey Hussle every day. But I tell you what, dude, after making, like, I actually am good at making like hip hop, rap music, like producing beats, recording, sound engineering. Like I'm 100% confident I'm good at that. And I've worked with like a really talented rapper, had everything going, but terrible work ethic, super diva. But anyways, there's a lot of like cocaine and stuff like that involved. I never did.
Yeah, it's a pretty, like you can see from the outside looking in, most of that stuff is generally short-lived, right? They don't last very long because they're going 1,000 miles an hour all the time. The lifestyle is rough anyway. Even if you were keeping it clean, it's rough. I mean, you're constantly working, you're on the road or whatever else. I've had a little bit of experience with the music industry on the security end of things. So I've seen some stuff. I've done some stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I mean, and I knew real fast, like, that's not for me. Like, I don't need to be putting that stuff in my body. Like, I didn't have the energy. I didn't have the bandwidth for it. So
it's weird because I tried to like be as cool as I could be about everything. I'm just not built for it though, man.
I gotcha.
Like the two guys that I worked with, one was really musically talented with instrumentation and stuff like that. The other one's like a great vocalist, super bad work ethic. Like I said though, right?
What a shame.
Yeah, really, really. I don't like, that's a whole nother thing. But point is I can only do that for so long where like, that's where I picked up being like an alcoholic. Is because everybody's doing like blow and smoking weed, and that's just not for me. I can't do that stuff. Kind of scares me, to be honest. So I would drink because that's like the social norm. You can at least drink, right? And then after,
it's just interesting how that gets reduced to that. Like, no blow, no weed, alcohol, no problem.